Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher. Bill's guest tonight, actress Shari Belafonte, actor and comedian Joe Rogan, Socialist Party presidential candidate David McReynolds, and actress Kari Wuhrer.
Thank you very much. Hey. Thank you, Clay. Very kind of you. I know why you're happy today. Firestone is bringing in more tires. No, I'm not kidding about this. You know, their tires have had a little problem, so they had to recall them all. So they announced they're going to airlift tires, Firestone tires from Japan, and isn't that good news? More tires, and they said, don't worry, they'll be here soon. They're coming in on the Concorde. So, not to worry. Well, speaking of tragedies, you know, that awful thing that happened with the Russian submarine. Today, the premier of Russia, Vladimir Putin, said that tomorrow in Russia is a day of mourning. He said that's what they're going to do. No entertainment on television, just mourning. He said also, unfortunately, no possibility anybody survived. And in retrospect, the whole thing was a terrible idea for a reality show. That's just not a... Oh, no, please. Wow. No, it's okay. Booing into applause. You don't hear that often. Laughter into applause. Well, let's go to the bright side of life. John McCain, cancer-free. Isn't that good news, Mr. McCain? As you know, he had skin cancer announced last week. He went to the hospital yesterday. Apparently, they got it all. They said he's cancer-free. They sent him home. He does, doctors say, still have a little pain in his jaw, but they said that is mostly from trying to campaign for Bush with a straight face. Well, speaking of that, Gore and Bush are having a big fight now over the military. That seems to be the big first issue in the campaign. They both spoke at the VFW this week. Yesterday it was Bush's turn, today Gore, and, you know, they're firing these shots at each other. Bush said, our military isn't ready, and Gore said today, oh yeah, but I was in Vietnam and you weren't. And now Bush shot back. He said, yeah, but my VP, Dick Cheney, has a Purple Heart. You know, an actual Purple Heart. And he said, your VP, Lieberman, is Jewish, and the Jews are known for avoiding drafts. All right, so let's bring on our panel. First, a fine actress and star of the TV movie Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye, premiering Thursday at 8, Kari Wuhrer, ladies and gentlemen. Kari. Glad for getting here. He's none other than he is the Socialist Party candidate for President of the United States, David McReynolds. Oh, David. All right, a very funny comedian, star of news radio. His new comedy CD is I'm Gonna Be Dead Someday. Joe Rogan. Joe. How are you, Joe? Good to see you. And she is the fine actress who graces the cover of this month's Playboy magazine, Shari Belafonte, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's kind of hard to talk about socialism after this, but I'm going to try. Yes, now we had the conventions the week before and the week before that. Now it's the week we're trying to do a little justice to the other candidates. We had Ralph Nader on yesterday. Anybody voting for Ralph Nader? I know he's going to... Yeah. Ralph's doing pretty well. Mr. McReynolds, you are the Socialist Party candidate.
That's right, yes.
That's right. Okay. Now, one of the things that bothered me about the other two conventions is I thought that they were all lying, and one of the lies the Democrats...
Well, that's what politicians do, isn't it?
Well, I don't think Mr. McReynolds does it. No, I really
don't. Give me a chance.
Give you a chance. I think he's sincere about his platform. I just think his platform is whack.
Oh,
now,
now let me... I'll bet you agree with a chunk of it. Like, for example, legalizing marijuana and putting heroin in the hands of doctors instead of addicts. I suspect you agree with that.
I'll vote for that.
I think you're in favor of getting... Yeah. I bet you're in favor of getting the government out of people... CIA sort of stuff?
Yeah, but wait a second.
Okay.
Let's go to the...
There's some agreement.
There is some agreement.
All right.
But the rest of your platform would wreck America.
We don't agree on it.
Okay. just because, listen, you say you want a 30-hour work week.
Yep.
12...
Now, does that include show business? Because I don't think we can cut it.
That's a 30-hour day.
We're just not included. I mean, Socialist Party sounds like fun to me.
It does sound like fun, and so does Santa Claus, but he lives at the North Pole, which is melting. Okay.
Which is melting.
Right. Okay. $12 minimum wage.
Yep.
Wait. Hold your applause, babies. 6 weeks paid vacation, free college, free mass transit, free legal services, free health care, free daycare.
Unicorns, rainbows, and little green men.
Actually, we already have half of those things. You've got free legal aid now.
Bad legal aid.
You had, yeah, I know, we'd like to have much better legal aid, but you have.
But it's not
and
really
when I went
free.
to college,
Somebody pays in the end.
Bill, you're right on that, and I wish
Somebody's going to have to pay in the end for everything.
We had should have been clearer in the platform in saying that there is no free lunch. This has to come out of tax funds. If you want this, you have to pay for it.
So how much?
80% of your taxes, right?
But you're going to cut back on the taxes because people are going to be working 30-hour weeks, so there's not as much income.
Yeah, but the lazy people still get to be lazy.
We are going to lift the taxes on those who are very wealthy. There's no question that the Socialist, if it was elected, if you earned $1 million,
more than
you wouldn't keep much.
48%?
Oh, yes, much more than that.
My ex-husband would love this bill. He'd love it. He could make that dent in the couch even bigger.
You want more than 48% taxes? Well, what do you propose?
Depends on what your income is.
Well, what
would be the highest? What tax rate do we need?
That's crazy. You want more than half. You want to work.
What about our business manager, our agent, and our manager?
And a lawyer. And a
Yeah.
They still won't have to.
For the folks who are working poor, who earn very little, they should pay no tax whatever.
They don't pay tax now.
Yeah, but those folks who are taking home a pile of money, yes, they should pay a high tax.
But how? They
and
do.
someone like Bill Gates, no, they should pay a higher
They
tax.
already pay.
Let me tell you something. That's wrong.
Anyone who makes over $250,000 in America already pays half.
We're in favor of lifting that higher.
I know you
say,
will.
listen,
What?
Bill, that's right.
Everybody who's in a socialist government situation all wants to come here to make money. Where the hell are we going to go?
I don't
Yeah.
think that's quite that.
Yeah.
One of the things which is really obscene is that in this country, the average CEO earns 400 times what the average guy does who works a 40-hour week. Something is wrong with
But
that.
you know, the
That's
average
obscene.
CEO never works a 40-hour week. First of all, they never worked
Yeah.
a 40-hour week to get there. They had to bust their ass to go through school. It's not easy to become a CEO. It's very difficult. That's why they get paid an assload of money.
Really bitching.
No, it's not easy to become a CEO. That's the whole thing America was founded
Right.
on. You have to bust your ass to get somewhere.
really
Some guy who's a
think-
scrub
you really
laborer
think that Dick
doesn't
Cheney-
deserve what a CEO gets.
Do you really think that Dick Cheney earned his $20 or $30 million
Who cares about
retirement?
Dick Cheney? You want more than 50% taxes. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, 60%, 70%.
That's insanity. 50% is way too much as it is. Where's Steve Forbes when you need him?
It depends
That
on...
dude wanted like 7%. That's
He's
why
busy working.
Yeah,
he's
right.
running Forbes magazine to make up for his campaign, right?
But, you know, I mean, in general, I've always thought socialism is like marriage. It's good in theory, it just doesn't work practically.
It's utopia.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we'd all have to collectively join hands and jump off the bridge at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, you just couldn't.
Well, one thing, I know that what happens in like socialist countries like Cuba, I've been to Cuba, is that even though there certainly makes good sense to having health care and having a roof over your head and having food on your plate, but the faces, everybody was passionless. There seemed to be absolutely no passion
But
in people.
wait, that's
in
a
being-
communist
I don't know
country.
about that.
Yeah, it's a little different.
That's a little different.
I think if you
There are
look
socialist countries.
at Iceland, Norway, Sweden,
Right.
Denmark,
Right.
Finland,
Yeah.
they have a higher living standard than we do, and they have very high tax rates. They have medical care
Right.
for everyone, they have education for everyone,
Right.
they
Well,
have decent
Canada has medical
transportation.
care for everyone, but they have a huge problem with it up there, right?
But I'm saying that in
We
those
can't get wine
countries,
on
which I would
Sunday.
call socialist countries, you have a higher living standard than we do here. And in Europe, you start with
How are you
a
gonna have a
5-week
higher living
vacation.
standard if you take
you're
50%
living in
taxes
you're living
and
in
more?
France or West Germany or Holland, you start with a 5-week vacation. Here, you have to work for a long time before you're entitled to 2 or 3
Yeah,
weeks.
but you know what? You
vacation.
can make so much money, you can retire by the time you're 40.
And where does the
Oh, no.
individual
Who-
stand on your platform? Where does the
No.
individual stand? How do you uplift yourself and become, you know, what is human nature?
What has happened? What has happened to the individual in corporate America? Where is he? Where every single wish and love you have has been put on the
If I
marketplace.
have an idea,
We've destroyed the individual.
Wait a minute. What are you clapping for? What are you saying?
They're clapping because I'm right. Something has gone wrong.
There is no right. There's no right. There's no wrong about
has gone wrong in America when we have Bush calling for a $60 billion Star Wars program, which can't defend anyone. If you can't stop low-flying planes from coming into Mexico with drugs, why are you putting $60 billion into a Star Wars program? That's your
I agree with that, but that has nothing to do with taxes and the cost of living and people, the amount of the income that they make a year in proportion to a CEO and a common laborer. There's a huge difference between that and Star Wars.
No, if you're talking about a government, ideally it looks like a good idea, but we're talking about the people. You know, what you're doing is you're enabling people to be less motivated, to be lazy, I mean, we're a very, very large nation. You realize that, right?
I've been to the Scandinavian countries, and they are highly motivated. They work hard, and
they have good government.
And they've also got a long time, which they go through a high school.
With the Socialist candidate for president. I'd love to get your opinion on this, and all of yours, but I saw this in the paper a couple of days ago, and it's about this Appalachian Mountain Club, which is a group of people who apparently upkeep the outdoor recreational facilities. Now, there's a mountain in a park in New Hampshire. It's about 5 miles up, this lodge at the top of this mountain. Very hard to get to, a very rugged climb for people who like to climb. Okay. Because of the American with Disabilities Act, they had to put in wheelchair-accessible facilities, the bar ramps. And the local columnists up there said, you know, what are you doing? These people could never get up there. Well, naturally, the handicap took this as a challenge, and 5 of them went up the mountain with a lot of help. 3 of them were in wheelchairs, 2 of them were on crutches. They had to have a whole team. Okay, you know, I mean, I'm sympathetic to the disabled, but I don't know why. They seem to want it both ways. They seem to want to say that they can do anything everyone else can do, but at the same time, they need special access. If you can get up the mountain, why do you need a special bar in the bathroom?
Why not?
Okay, Bill.
You're a taxpayer.
Bill,
you're a taxpayer. You should. They're taxpayers. And there's no reason.
First,
handicapped people are taxpayers as well, and why shouldn't they have a bathroom? It's not like you can't use that bathroom.
Is there a way to get to the cabin without climbing? Because obviously they built it.
First thing I want to say,
how do they get the lumber and everything?
This is for hikers. This is for rugged hikers.
The first thing I want to say before going on to that is that you should be commended for having minor party candidates on. This is what all the major networks should be doing. I hate to tell you,
but before you thank me too much, because the major party candidates won't do this show, because I won't kiss their ass like they get on other shows.
Just one quick response to the disabled. Because when I was 30 years younger, I never saw those folks in the street. And then after all of these acts have been passed, suddenly I find out that all these people I didn't even know exist are now on the buses, on the streets, and thank God for it. My feeling is if you can put a man on the moon, then it's okay to put some money to get someone up on the mountaintop.
Yeah, but they have to climb up the mountain.
I actually think that it's just insurance for them, because if they don't have it there, they'll probably get sued.
Well, they will.
By somebody who's looking for equal opportunity employment.
But forget about the legal aspects of it. Should it be there? Should there be a wheelchair ramp?
That's why legislation needs to be...
Well, how much does it cost?
How much does Star Wars cost? How much does a space program cost?
Yeah, but we're probably more.
Human beings.
Probably more, right?
I know, but human beings should deal with the cards they're dealt. There's lots of things I can't do in life, too.
Yeah, but the Paralympics this year, for example, in Sydney this summer.
What can I do? I can't play baseball professionally. You know, blind people can't play baseball professionally. They can umpire.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
And that doesn't discourage the handicapped either, because you have the Paralympics this year in Sydney, which is Special Olympics for people in, in wheelchairs and whatnot, but it's not, they're not competing in the regular games.
I know, so it's dumb.
So
why don't you just work on something that you could be good at, like computers or something? You can't. It's just all a big show to pretend.
Well, no, there's wheelchair sports, I think, that are legitimate sports. Wheelchair basketball and things like that. I mean, if they want to compete and they like to do it and they can't walk, there's nothing wrong.
Deal with the cards. You're dead.
But it is. They are dealing with it.
Deal with the cards you're dealt. You're going to be sitting in your apartment in New York or Los Angeles, stuck there. It's because those folks organized and fought and got arrested and demonstrated that we changed the way the cards are dealt. I say God bless those folks.
Otherwise, the state would be paying for them forever, too. I have inspiration to get out there and make their own way.
I think legitimate sport, I mean, wheelchair sports are legitimate sports, but I think any dude who can climb up the mountain in a wheelchair is a stud.
But he's not climbing up the mountain. He's being carried up the mountain because he's in a wheelchair.
Then get his buddy to wipe his ass. What's the problem? Get his buddy to pick him up and get him in there. If the guy's going to carry you up the mountain, obviously you're going to have to go somewhere along the trail.
I mean, if they...
Exactly.
But if you can get yourself up the mountain...
But he can't get himself.
But the point is, if you can get yourself up the mountain, you don't need the ramp. But if somebody's getting you up there, well, then maybe there's got to be a reason
someone should help you out a little more.
Then you're going to need the ramp, you know?
I mean,
it's like getting you up to the top of the mountain and go, dude,
if you're looking at a world, with the problems we have, this is fairly minor. You have 500,000 kids who died in Iraq because of the sanctions. You have a lot of other problems. And I think this may be going too far or not far enough, but we have much more serious problems to cope with.
I think a big problem we have in this country is that we tell everybody they can do everything. And that is not doing anybody a big service. The great outdoors is not wheelchair accessible. I'm sorry. Mother Nature is one of the most politically incorrect people I've ever met in my life.
Although there's these lifeguards that just built the wheelchair that is water accessible now, that has the big balloon tires on it.
Yeah, there's wheelchair
And now they have a couple of
sports,
people. No, it's not even extreme sports. It's this guy who I think broke his neck, and a friend of his put together a wheelchair that that goes in the water now with these big balloon tires. And supposedly the look on his face is worth, you know, the $130 it cost to build that chair.
And that's great for him. I think the point is we over-legislate and we and we expect instant sort of like gratification through legislation.
It's true. In any struggle, you may go too far, but I understand that. But without the beginnings of the struggle, nothing happens. We wouldn't have anything approaching the civil rights we have for African Americans in this country if people had not been arrested by the thousands in the South and often killed in the process. And people say, well, they're going too far. Why don't they go more far?
But I really don't think you can be right there.
Tomorrow when our guest will be the West Wing's John Spencer, from Spin City, Beth Littleford, author Mitch Albom, and presidential candidate from the Reform Natural Law Coalition, John Hagelin.
Okay, the lead story in the paper today is that Thursday they're going to execute by lethal injection a 32-year-old man who, when he was 17, committed a heinous crime. And we are only one of 7 nations that kills juveniles, people who committed a crime when they were a juvenile. And I say good. I say, if you're old enough to rape, abduct, stalk, and kill, goodbye.
Yes. I'm right there with you. I kind of agree. I think the problem is that there have been so many cases where ultimately we found out that that person didn't do the crime.
I agree, but that's not the case here.
Be that as it may, if it is, then once this person has turned 13, 14 years old, yes, I agree with you.
17.
Or, actually, I don't necessarily agree with the idea of killing someone. I think what we should do is give them the option of either dying by lethal injection or staying in solitary confinement for the rest of their lives.
Bill, it seems to me
that's cruel.
There's something very crazy about a society which thinks we can teach people that killing people is wrong by killing them. That the fact...
That's not what we're doing.
Let's have overcrowded prisons like in Florida and let out murderers.
We know from the record that there's an overwhelming racial bias in the capital punishment area. We know this from Illinois. We know it from Texas, where George Bush has not examined each case. At least one of those.
We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about.
I know you're talking about this one case.
We're talking about whether somebody 17 is really an adult, and I think we all know 17-year-olds who are really adults.
I don't want the state, and you should be on my side on this as a libertarian. The state should not have the right to take the life of anyone.
We're talking about protecting innocent people from killers.
You put them in jail. You don't execute them.
Why? They've already taken a life. They've already taken life life from someone who is supposedly innocent, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, libertarianism is about you can do anything that doesn't hurt somebody else.
That,
I think raping, abducting, and killing is hurting someone else.
Is.
That's just my view.
You know, Bill, the problem is murder is a crime, but capital punishment is also a crime.
Okay. Well, we have to take a break. We will come back. Even the socialist guy wants to see Playboy. All right, tomorrow we have John Spencer from West Wing, Beth Littleford, Mitch Albom, author of Tuesdays with Maury, and Jog Hagland, the Reform Party candidate.